You're watching the Health Now Nutrition Podcast, advancing our holistic and nutrition industry one story at a time. Presenting your host, Michelle Post.
Welcome, everyone. We are talking today with the amazing Kim Lecuyer, all the way from Quebec. Quebec. How do you love to pronounce it?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Quebec.
Quebec. Love it. There's like 5 different ways to pronounce Quebec. So I just love it. So welcome to the Health Now Nutrition page and our wonderful contributor with the Saved by Nutrition anthology. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kim firstly. So Kim is a registered holistic nutrition consultant, a certified metabolic balance coach, and naturopathic member of the HNNI. Kim especially loves inspiring folks to love the foods that will love them back. She's all about slowing it down, tuning in, and getting back to basics. Kim inspires her clients to adopt their new healthy diets and generous helpings of self-love and self-respect. Yeah, that's like number 1, isn't it? Food is love, food is life, food is powerful. Oh my gosh, I love it. So if you want to learn more about Kim, you can actually get a hold of her website at www.nutritionlecuyer.ca. That's nutritionlecuyer.ca. Welcome to this show, Kim.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Michelle.
I'm so excited to see you. As I've told you already in our prelim, I am always so happy to see you. You are always so much fun whenever we get together. I just love it. So the book Saved by Nutrition is coming out in a matter of weeks now, and it's super exciting. So you wrote your story a little while back. Can you tell me about your experience writing your story down?
Yes. It was hard. It was, I shouldn't say that. It was, I mean, it's my story, but it was challenging to, I guess, to condense it and to distill it down, right? Because obviously our story is our story, and it can prattle on for pages and pages and pages. But yeah, so it was an interesting process to really kind of get to the bones of it, or to the nitty gritty, you know, to really distill it down. Yeah.
Well, and you have such a great story too about the influence that you got and why you actually turned to holistic nutrition. I absolutely love it. So why don't you share a little bit about, like, what was it that was affecting you in your life that started to make you look at nutrition?
Yeah. So again, it was really a process. My background was actually in agriculture. So I studied in animal science. So I got a bachelor's degree in agriculture, and I worked for a little while in that field. Discovered that I maybe wasn't quite passionate enough about animal nutrition. A little bit more passionate about people nutrition, but. What I discovered working with animals and in that field was how much prevention actually goes into feeding animals, right? So farmers are amazing business people. They've discovered that prevention pays, okay? It's cost effective, and treating is not. So calling the vet is really expensive. So all of the focus with animals, whether it's cows, chickens, pigs, whatever we're talking about, so any kind of any kind of farm animal, the focus is always on prevention. So I'm coming from that place. So for me, this is a no-brainer, right? This works. We're doing it.
So tell me a bit about what they do for prevention for animals.
Oh my God, it's incredible. So I've been out of the field for quite a while. My husband still works in the animal nutrition field. As far as, you know, probiotics, they've been talking about that for 40 years. A dairy farmer would never think of not giving their calves the first milk, so that colostrum. Right? Oh, it's just unheard of. Like it would be ridiculous. As far as, like, you know, they're balancing rations to the trace elements. So we're not just talking about calcium. Like, they're talking zinc, molybdenum, selenium. Like, they're looking at the nitty gritty, and this is how they're balancing rations. So it's incredibly precise. Like I said, I've been out of the field for quite a while, but some of the things that I'm talking about now that's coming out now, research, that we're seeing in nutrition that seems really cutting edge. I mean, they've been doing this for, animal nutrition is 30 or 40 years ahead of anything that we're doing in human nutrition. Okay.
Did you hear that? Animal nutrition is 30 or 40 years ahead than human nutrition.
Because of the prevention. So again, they're preventing, right? So this is where I'm coming from. So fast forward a few years, like I said, I discovered that, animal nutrition wasn't such a, passion for me. So, I had kids and things happened. And anyways, long story short, we ended up buying a retirement home. So I purchased a retirement home with my mom and my sister. And that was an amazing experience, a very, very steep learning curve. So I was in charge of the food and ordering and all of that aspect of the res. My mom was administration, my sister's a registered nurse. So it was a really nice trio. We worked great together, got to meet amazing people. So,
yeah.
However, what I was faced with at this point was a lot of just a lot of pain, a lot of unhappiness, people just suffering. So, whether it was whatever bobo was going on, this was huge. And I can't say how many times we heard in a week, golden years.
Yeah.
Golden, right? So you hear this over and over and over again. Like seriously, this was over and over and over again. So, and all right around this time, I'm about to turn 40. So, that 40 milestone is pretty big. My dad is also suffering with really serious, so he had a stroke, he had a heart attack, he's dealing with all kinds of things. So,
and how old was he during those times?
He was really young. He was in his mid or late 50s. So he was really, really young. So everyone's dealing with all of these health things and nobody's talking about prevention. So that was kind of the little aha moment, that clicked for me. Like I said, with my background in agriculture, I'm like, basically it was just, they just felt like such victims of their health.
Right.
Overall, I shouldn't generalize, but overall, that was what was going on.
So again, I just want everyone to know we are talking with the amazing, and this is fascinating, Kim Lecouillère all the way from Quebec. And if you want to learn more about Kim and what she does with nutrition, you can go to www.nutritionlecouillere.ca, nutritionlecouyer.ca. All right. So what I want to know is about how your father, how he was feeling and how that affected you on an emotional basis. Like, what was that like for you to see him having these experiences?
Yeah. So again, you just feel very powerless, right? With my dad, with the seniors, it was all kind of playing out at the same time, but you just, basically the only power they had was going to their doctor's appointment and taking their pills. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against doctors. I have nothing against pills. It just felt like folks just, again, I go back to that word, that kind of victim place. So that was really what kind of started the whole thing for me. That was what triggered it. Right around that time, I started dealing with my own things. Different issues. Problems around my period and, struggling with crazy PMS and,
at 42, hey?
Yeah, well, it had been going on, but it really kind of escalated. So I went to see a doctor and I was prescribed antidepressants as well. Again, nothing against, everybody's got to do what they've got to do. In my case, it really, really didn't work. It didn't sit well with me. So they just knocked me flat. And that was kind of when I started investigating alternative, modalities and different things that I could do to kind of help this situation. So that was really the start for me. And it was all those things put together.
Right.
So you can understand how writing my story was, because it's not black and white, but it was all of that together. So I don't know if any of that makes sense, but.
It totally makes sense. I've also been on antidepressants myself, as some of our actual other contributors have also shared their stories of depression and being on antidepressants, and what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and going and seeing like a naturopath. So what was your next step? What type of modalities were you looking into to help you move forward with this health crisis that you were seeing? And what I'm assuming is it made you very nervous because you also see a trajectory of your genetic health with your dad.
Exactly. So it was all of this. At that point, I started going for acupuncture. And I remember the first time when I made the appointment, I actually looked this gal up. I made sure she was part of an association. I was so skeptical of the whole, like it was just sounded really woo-woo to me, right?
Right, yeah.
And so that's where I was. So I'm coming from a place of very conventional, you know, you're sick, you go to the doctor, you take the pill. That's what we thought, right? So yeah, so that was really my first initiation, I guess, and it worked amazingly well for me.
Wow.
It was incredible, and that really opened my eyes to the potential of just a little bit more self-responsibility, I guess. Just being able to take care of things and to not feel like a victim and to not go down that path of, you know, aging painfully and so, you know, because the other thing I discovered is that it's not just the person going through it. So whether it was the seniors or my dad, it wasn't just their pain. It affected all of the people around them. It was incredibly hard, right?
Oh my God. And I think I quote our previous conversations, even from a year ago, a lot. I think I even put your influence on what you shared with me in the foreword in the book. So please keep sharing with us what you're about to say, because I felt so strongly and passionately about it affecting others.
Yeah. Well, that, you know, that was what we were seeing. So with the home, with the retirement home, again, we're not just dealing with the senior that's suffering with, you know, whether it's inflammation or pain or whatever is going on. It's the whole family. So how much this impacts everybody around them, right? Same thing with my dad. This was incredibly stressful. I had 2 teenagers at the time, and I remember putting more energy into worrying about my parents because, you know, my dad was not able to work. My mom had to, you know, pick up the slack. She was incredibly stressed. It was just incredibly stressful for everyone in my family, and it went on for a long time. And I mean, a lot of people deal with this. This is.
Did you have to do extras in order to help out with your dad being sick?
Yeah, we all did, of course, right? So, you know, whether it's, you know, just supporting mom or just, you know, whatever hospital stay he was in and making sure he's eating or feeding him or making sure that whatever was going on. So, yeah. So again, it's not just about the person that's afflicted. It's all of your people around you that are being, you know, affected by whatever is going on. So that's where I was sitting, like I said, about to turn 40, and I was going, holy cow, like this is where I'm going. Right? So that was really, like I said, all of those things together was kind of what, when I started looking into different modalities, and holistic nutrition came up, and, you know, the prevention, the getting to the root cause.
Remember, people, prevention and root cause. Remember that.
You know, we're not just slapping a pill, you know, a Band-Aid on a symptom. We're actually going to dig deep and see where this is coming from. All right, so, you know, you're not feeling good, you're feeling a little depressed. Let's dig a little bit deeper and maybe get to the root cause, right? So that really resonated with me. That was like a no-brainer, and then that was it. So I you know, did my training and pursued that. So yeah, that was.
So what kind of changes did you start to make with your diet and lifestyle that started to help you feel better from all these issues that were coming in at you at the 40-year mark there?
Right. So there have been a lot of changes. And, you know, it's looking back, it's nothing that dramatic, actually. They've all kind of happened very organically, very naturally. But the end result is that I'm feeling better than I've ever felt. I no longer feel like a victim of my health, right? So I know that I have the power to not choose that path.
Right.
Okay? I mean, right. So it's just giving you a little bit more, taking back a little bit more power. I think that we're not victims of our genetics, that we're not victims of our health. So that is huge. So I don't know if I don't think I answered your question, because there have been a lot of things, right? So it's just, cleaning up the diet, just attending to stress and just ensuring balance, whatever that means. In my case, I know exactly what it means, and it can be different for everybody, So whether it's booking a 15-minute walk or meditating or praying or whatever it is. So there's a million things out there that you can do. It's finding what sits well with you.
What did you do that helped you so well?
Yeah, so so again, cleaning up the diets, cleaning up the products, just quieting things down a little bit, because things can get going pretty crazy up there. Right? So
I love that show that the girl was saying, shut up in there, just shut up.
Shut up. Yeah, exactly. So I'll actually do that. I actually will book, 15 minutes and take a walk and just do some deep breathing. And, nature is big for me. I love walking. So it's really simple. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing that, costs a lot of money. It's just, but that works for me. So, and I know it's different for everybody, but yeah, so for me, that would be it. Meditation,
awesome.
Walking, just reconnecting. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Because I definitely agree. Stress and anxiety can cause a lot of things when it comes to the aging factor. And of course, stress, digestion, all that kind of stuff works hand in hand, and also can age people if they don't de-stress enough. So self-care and self-love. I love that you have that in here. So just give us one little example, though, of the actual nutrition changes, because I know it kind of gleaned and glossed over there. What was one of the first things that you did actually change that really started to help with you?
Well, that's a good question, because going through the nutrition program, and we did the same one, right? Yeah. Going through, we become our own guinea pigs. So I think I tested every different detox and juicing and whatever. So I guess the biggest thing, there isn't really one. When I look at my pantry today, it looks a lot different than it did 10 years ago. That's for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the refined is out, and I think a lot of people don't even really know what that means. So that's something that I work with a lot with clients. Is let's just clarify that. So just getting rid of that is huge. So there's no more breakfast cereal in my pantry. Right?
I know we don't have that either anymore. Like I always say that if a guest came over who wasn't into our lifestyle, and I mean, I love lots of people who are not, absolutely, but if they came over and they felt like they had to snack in the middle of the night, they would get up and not know how to eat in my house.
Exactly. So that's a big thing, because I can actually see my pantry. Things do get slipped in once in a while. Happens, but anyways, there's funky things that show up every once in a while. Well,
let's be realistic about this moderation thing, right?
Well, that's right. It has. I mean, it's all about balance. The whole you touched on digestion before. So just I'm really loving the fermented foods right now. I talk a lot about that. I can't shut up about that. So the whole gut microbiome,
then don't.
Dealing with that, right? Exactly. So that's really been big. That's something that's an everyday thing. So bringing in those probiotic foods, those fermented foods, just drinking water. Drinking a lot of water. Yeah, right. So that's what's coming, healthy fats, just eating healthy fats. And the best part is it's absolutely delicious. So I'm really about the win-win, and that's really what I love. And what I love when I get to work with clients is this doesn't have to be painful. And I have to try it and make it work in my own life before I'm gonna, spew it out to the world. So that's what it's all about. It's how to bring in the good stuff, and make it delicious, make it doable, make it livable, and Yeah, so it's got to be win-win-win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your favorite fermented food?
My everyday is definitely kefir. No,
Oh, is
kefir.
that right? Yeah, hey?
And I've been making just fermented vegetables, and I've been experimenting with everything. So fermented carrots, fermented cauliflower. I just ferment everything. I love it. So I made a fermented ketchup the other day, like a
Yeah.
salsa fair. Oh, I love it. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. So that's been my little pet project, I guess.
Tell people what's in your fermented ketchup. I need to know.
Okay, so I basically went to get my favorite, because my grandma used to make these homemade ketchups, right? But she didn't ferment it. She would just add a lot of sugar and celery and tomato. So when she passed away, no one was making the ketchup. So I have a favorite brand that I go by, and so I just tried to copy it. So I have got a ton of fruit, and last time I used like a mix of kind of mango, papaya, and I got frozen fruit because I think it was in the middle of winter when I was testing this out. Tomato, celery, onion. I haven't made it in a while because I made a big batch, and then I think that's it. I kind of tested with different spices. You know, I put some cloves in. I did look at it.
Yeah, it's a little bit, only this much.
A little crazy, yeah. But yeah, that's the base, anyways. Yeah,
That is
fantastic. I love it.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I fermented garlic and honey. I've done the whole honey fermentation. And so I've done the garlic and honey, I've done the hot peppers and honey, and I've done the ginger and honey. And we did one with the garlic and honey and threw in some tomato sauce, tomato paste, and whipped that up with a couple of the spices as well. And that turned into a wonderful ketchup as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about the honey and the garlic, and I'm not sure where you use it. So it's just to add into things?
Oh yeah, you can add it into anything. If you're sick, you have a cough or you're cold or something like that, then obviously you're going to get your allicin as well as all the microbial parts and all that stuff with the honey as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that one, and I've had it in the cupboard there for probably about 4 years because I don't know what to use it with most of the time, but every once in a while it's like, oh my gosh, I need this, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful because it just keeps fermenting. That's it. So wonderful.
It's getting better.
All right. So today you are doing magnificent with your health. You have no issues. You are not following in the footsteps.
Oh,
it's been
no.
Right.
I was just going to say a bad word there, but no.
Yeah, don't say that word. Yeah.
No, you know what? Again, and I'm not trying to, but I really honestly feel better than I felt in my 20s probably. So I was a smoker. I was, you know, I mean that. So, but no, yeah. No, my sleep is wonderful. My period is painless, and it's just food. It's just been with food. That's it.
That's unbelievable. That is absolutely wonderful to hear, and that you get to actually share this with your clients as well.
Yeah,
I love it.
For sure.
So do you have any advice, information, or anything that you want to share with our viewership, just to give them something to think about or to work on or to tweak? Or
you know what? It's that food really matters. So food and lifestyle, we talked about the stress, we talked about dealing with all that stuff, but it is huge. And I don't think that's emphasized enough in our mainstream kind of dialogue. That's what it is. And I'm blown away. So, you know, my process took many, many years. But what I'm learning now is it doesn't have to take that long. And I'm seeing clients whip through things and ripping through problems that have been long-standing, and it's all just with wholesome natural food. It is powerful. And again, I go back to agriculture. Farmers know this, you know. Food consultants that are dealing with animal nutrition know this. It's a no-brainer. But yeah, it's time for it to be a little bit more mainstream and for folks to turn to this kind of naturally and automatically. So
absolutely,
yeah, food is powerful.
Absolutely. And I love what we were showcasing earlier, even about being self-empowered. And that does mean taking control of our own health using food.
Exactly.
You know, instead of waiting for somebody else to tell us how we're supposed to live our life in order to get healthier, which isn't working. right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not working.
It's all about self-responsibility, and you're not, it's, whatever happens is not just affecting you. I think this is a gift to all of your family and all of your people. So, yeah.
Right. I absolutely love that. Absolutely. So again, thank you so much for sharing so much with us today on the show. Again, we're talking with Kim Lecuyer, and you guys say that 5 times because it's just such a fun name to say. Lecuyer. I love it. So if you want to learn more about Kim, you can follow her or find her at www.nutritionlecuyer.ca. That's nutritionlecuyer.ca. I hope you got that in the proper order there, everyone. So again, we'll be back next week with another wonderful contributor to our fabulous book. And again, thank you so much for sharing today, Kim.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Michelle. It's always fun.
Always a pleasure. Bye, everyone.
You've been watching the Health Now Nutrition Podcast with Michelle Post. For more information on how you can be part of the holistic and nutrition movement, visit www.healthnow.today to book your meeting.